Welcome everybody to the Red G Fox channel. Thank you for joining us here on Red G Fox channel. Everything we talk about is Sanford and Son themed and all about Red Fox. And before you say, what the heck's he doing with a championship belt, regardless of what it's about, today we are crowning our best one and done champion. We have been doing this for the past nearly 2 months with thousands and thousands of votes, which is amazing to get that many votes on such a small channel such as ours. But I want to thank everyone who's participated, who's given their opinions, even suggestions. Some of these people, these characters on this, I didn't even think of putting in this tournament, and others have said, you got to have this person, you got to have that person. So great help from everyone in our community. And so today we'll crown the champ. It's funny the way it goes. We kind of had a feeling who it might be, but you still got to have the tournament, and that's what makes it fun as we break down all these characters. So let's get through from 20 all the way to 1, who our champion is, the best ever on our channel, Red G Fox, because we can't speak for the entire Sanford and Son community, but at least in our community, the best ever one and done appearance for a character. We all, not the actors. Actors can come back and be different people, Ron Glass, and so on. But this one is just for that character. So let's get through it, starting with number 20. Coming in at number 20, honestly, a surprise. I could not believe he didn't jump higher in the list, and he did not get very many votes. He did go against some tough opponents. So I think he would have got a few more votes had he been maybe in the first or second round. But that is Big Lou Turner. We know him as the guy who is a big rival to Fred. Fred comes and sees a cigar there, and he's like, who is this? And to me, my favorite, me personally, I can't speak. Comment below. Name any of your favorite characters' moments that we mentioned on this show, because I want to hear your voices as well. I'll give you my opinion. My favorite was when he's like, the counter, allow it to breathe. And then Fred's all, breathe. Oh, I love that scene. Anytime I think of Lou Turner, I think of that. And we know my thoughts on the arm wrestling. I'm not going to get into that debate and waste our time. But when it comes to that, Fred ends up besting him with getting all the medals thanks to a little help from Grady. But Lou Turner, he comes in. I really, really like the actor, and I think that he did an outstanding job as being a rival to Fred. And yeah, so he came in at 20. He didn't get very many votes, surprisingly. But that's it for number 20. Let's get to number 19. And this one, I thought would do, it's funny, you know, you get to it and you're like, I thought they would do better. I thought they would. And then we have a few that I did not think would do as well. And 19 is Alex Hacker, aka Miss Wallace. I thought Alex Hacker would be higher on this list, but no, very minimal votes as well. We know that Alex Hacker, Miss Wallace, the only character in show history to play both male and female. We know that he does the disguise. He comes over to the Sanford Arms, and he's really, I think he's into fencing items, illegal. The cops are going after him, but Fred has no idea. He needed his glasses. We know Fred, he needs his glasses to read things up close. Maybe he needs his glasses to get close to people as well. But then you got to give it to even Bubba. When they were talking about, they're like, Fred's all, you see those tall legs? And calm down, Fred, calm down. You know, he's trying to calm him down. Bubba seemed like, there's other fish in the sea, but Bubba never said, hey, you know, that's suspicious. Even my own kids, when they saw the episode, the first thing they said is, that's a man. But Fred falls for the disguise, and then we get to see him as Alex Hacker. I think that's it's a very funny episode, and the character itself is well done. Fred finally does, because he figures out once the police say it. But Alex Hacker, aka Miss Wallace, yeah, the only character to play both sexes. So that is a little fun fact in case you didn't know. Coming in at number 18, this one I'm not shocked this is to the bottom of the list. I had to put him in there, and that's Norman in the episode where he goes, my name's Norman, but they call me King. And then Fred looks at the driver's license. He's all, gee, Mo Nitty. And he's all, well, you take an ugly picture. And he's all, no, that was because it was early in the morning. Fred's all, if you this ugly in the morning, you this ugly at night. Oh my gosh. But everybody knows him from, he bought the watch bear. Fred, you know, and some of these episodes, like this one, the other ones are later on. You can actually go watch on our channel anything from season 2 below, season 2 and 1. You can watch our breakdown where we show clips and I talk in more depth about the entire thing. But in this one, I'm going to try to get through it quick of talking about the characters. But he gets the watch bear. He goes out. Fred sends him to get some other items, and he comes back with a watch bear, and Fred is furious. But the biggest thing, and I even said it when we covered it before when we break down, because we even broke down videos on each character in this tournament. Go check any of those out. It's in the playlist where it says best one and done. You can see clips and all our opinions on each character in that playlist. So go to that as well. But with him, the biggest thing to him is, I always said, you know what, I always think of him as TC. So maybe he's not as memorable on Sanford and Son as he is in Magnum PI. But that's Norman, who's king, and coming in 18. Number 17, I thought he would do better than this, and that is Junior Joe Lewis. He's towards the bottom. Now, in this one, we know he gets minimal lines. He's the boxer, right? Yervy's deranged. You know, he writes a dictionary in crayons or whatever it was Lamont said. But Yervy gets Fred into the fight game, and he gets to help manage Junior Joe Lewis. And the best line is when he's like, he messes up and he's like, oh, he's not as dumb as he looks. Fred's all, nobody can be as dumb as he looks. And then when he gets him with the, hey, is that a glazed donut? And knocks him out and beats him in the fight for punching Lamont. So good character, memorable, but I wonder how many of us would, you know, diehards will get it, but the average fan, would they know Junior Joe Lewis as much as they know some of our top 5? Probably not. So it does make sense he is at the bottom of the list. And another great fact, did you know the actor that played Junior Joe Lewis was also in the Las Vegas one? He was also the one where Fred gets a job at the restaurant as Bruno, and he keeps coming out the chef. And he was in the very last episode of Sanford and Son, the episode where he is, what's his name? Dang it. Anyways, my mind's when I'm thinking. But he's in the last one where Fred graduates high school. He's in the class with him. So he did a lot of different characters in there. So like I said, one and done is most popular was Junior Joe Lewis. Let's move on to number 16. And in this one, I thought got so many comments and people loved in the tournament in round 1 when he lost. A lot of people kept commenting, and that is Moose. Yes, he's the one in the airplane where it says Super Flyer, where they go out there and they're trying to find Jackie and they got to go to St. Louis for his uncle's remains. And Fred's like, I don't want to see no Uncle Leotis. He was so pissed at the end. But he sees Moose on the plane, and we know that he has such a big impact. And the funniest thing is, any Sanford and Son fan, I think even casual fans know Moose, because Super Flyer is a top 10 episode of all time, and he only gets one line. Fred's like, hey, don't you know how to put out that cigarette? And he stands real big above Fred. He's all, are you talking to me? The old Robert De Niro, are you talking to me? You must be talking to me. There's no one else here. He gets there and he does the, are you talking to me? And then that's it. Fred's all, no, not you. Him. And he's yelled at that guy and he's all, you go ahead, Moose. You can sit down. The rest of the episode, it's so funny where he keeps saying, anytime something's going to happen, he's like, you can watch me have a heart attack, Moose. And Moose is just cool. He's cool with them, right? He doesn't need to beat up Fred. He put Fred in his place. But yeah, Moose is very memorable. So he came in at 16. I was surprised that he didn't get a little higher, just in the fact that so many people commented in his first round tournament about how much they liked Moose. All right, here we go. Number 15. This was not one I was going to put in because honestly, she's a memorable character, but she had such a small role. Like, she probably had less than a dozen lines. Well, heck, can't be. She had more lines than Moose, right? So Moose was in it, so maybe she should have been in it. But she was suggested by several other viewers and people in our community who said, you got to get her in there. You got to get her in there. And that is Fast Fanny. Yeah, she's in the episode. Remember, they talked the funeral, and then we got, anytime you got Leroy and Skillet, it's going to be a memorable episode. They're doing it, and they're dancing, having a good time. They want to get a party, and they get Fast Fanny to go get all her friends. And I like when Fred sees her, and she's like, yeah, we'll all get together. And Fred's all, well, I know where I see my destination now. Like, he wants to be with Fast Fanny. And her big line is fast, faster, and out of sight. And she does her little shimmy. She was memorable, but she came in at number 15. She could not overcome in her, and even though people loved her, I think she finished 3rd in her tournament, her round. So that is it at 15. Let's get to 14. One of my personal favorites, and that is Carol Rose. Hey, Fred. I love his voice. He's all, Freddy. And then he tells him he's got the money. Fred actually helped him unintentionally rob a bank. Remember that? I love that classic scene. It's got to be the 20s. It looks like the outfits and the cars and the environment look like the 20s. Could be the 30s. But either way, Fred is there and he robs a bank. Remember, that's when he writes a note and he can't spell very well. He's all, give him brown paper bug. I will short your hurt off. And Carol Rhodes gets out of jail, has a good time with Fred, and then he gives him the money. $52.17. Hey, I remembered. If you know, I've already talked about that as a trivia question. I always forget the cents, but I think it just popped in my head because I'm imitating his voice. But yes, Carol Rhodes, comment if you thought he was a great one as well. I love Carol Rhodes. Number 13, this is one of my personal top 10 episodes, and that's from season 2. We're about to cover that. We are a couple weeks behind because of all the things we've got going on, but I had to get this video out on our weekly episode breakdown, and that is The Kid. Jason, in the episode The Kid, oh my gosh, he's beating Fred at poker. Fred has to make up some game where he says, how many cards you got? 6? I got 7. I think he beats him by 1. He's like, I win. And he's like, wait a minute, let's play that again. The fact that he comes in there, and Fred gets off so many great lines with him, but he's such a good actor. He does a great job. Other people mentioned, I think he was in Good Times, the actor, but in this one, I would have loved to have seen him more. He almost becomes Fred's stepson, as when Fred meets his mother, right at the end, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go flower these thighs, and he's checking her out, and she even gets a grin. So that would have been fun if maybe he dated her, or if you ever see Jason against, because he lives in the neighborhood. But yes, my favorite line from that is when he's like, Jason's all, man, I'm scared of thunder. And he's all, hey, Lamont tells him, you don't have to be afraid of thunder. It's just electricity in the atmosphere. And Fred's all, I can't even say it. Fred's all, why you got to scare him like that? He's all, wait, okay, what is it? Lamont says, what causes thunder? He said, thunder? That's Black Angels tap dancing. Oh, I'm crying. Oh my gosh. Yeah, such a great line right there when he says that. But that is Jason, the Kid. Yeah, almost Fred's stepson. That would have been great. So let's get to number 12 as we get closer to our top 10. And this is the piano mover. He's actually the piano owner. They do list his last name, but in this one, he speaks German. I want to say he speaks French. Oh my gosh. I really enjoyed him, and I'm shocked he didn't make top 10. Just in the fact that he did so much. There was so much Lamont, right? Lamont's always doing the work, and the minute he takes a break and Fred's like, oh yeah, I can do it, he comes in and catches it, and he's like, why are you going to make your fun? In the end, it turns out it's almost like he was Fred's biggest ally, because he was defending Fred about, oh, taking the bayonet wound, fighting for his country, taking care of Lamont all these years, and now he should be retired. And he's making them, every time he comes in the room, Fred's doing the work, and Lamont is sitting down, drinking, relaxing, whatever the case may be. So it's a great episode of bad luck for Lamont, and funny comedy where Fred gets on the phone and he's like, ha ha, imitating his oh yeah, and then he's like, I want to know about that whole new way of life. So he very memorable character, the piano owner in go check it out, season 1, the last episode of season 1. We do a breakdown on that. Oh, I love that episode. You see me cracking up constantly in that. So many great lines, and he helped make that episode great, the piano owner. Now at number 11 is we're one away from our top 10 most memorable characters in Sanford and Son history. One and done characters, right? One appearance and never again. That is, oh, Dolly. Dolly! And we're talking about Dolly's, Grady's wife. She comes in, and man, the fact that she comes in, and remember, they can't wait to see her. Grady sets it up. He's talking about, you know, he's got the charcoal gray beard with the tie, and she ends up winning him over, and he's in love. And then they go out to eat, and he said, well, she said no onions to her, and I knew right away, hey, I'm in for a good time. No onions on hold my onions too. And then he's like, here you go, you're gonna see my beautiful Dolly. And when she walks in, you see Fred and Lamont open their eyes, look at each other, and then look back and close their eyes. Oh man, and Fred makes a scheme. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna break down the episode. It's a little, just giving you clips of it so you can remember who she was and what she was from. She was also the actress, not the character. She was Jackie on the airplane in Superflyer, but she's in here, she is Dolly, and Fred messes it all up because he doesn't want to lose his TV watching buddy, Grady, his best friend, and he throws a whole wrench in the plan and takes Lamont's robe, and Robe's like, that's my robe, why are you giving her your robe? So great episode. Dolly does deserve, I think, near the top 10. She was incredibly memorable, and in my opinion, our channel's top 10 all time. That episode is in the channel's top 10 just in the fact that her and Grady have great chemistry and big laughs in that episode. Here we go, drum roll, top 10. Yes, we are here in our top 10. This is it. From this point on, man, these are some of the most memorable and greatest characters that had one appearance. And heck, forget one appearance, just most memorable. I mean, it is one appearance, but everybody in Sanford and Son history knows these top 10. And when you bring them up, they love the episode. They love the characters, and we would have loved to have had more. So let's get to it. Number 10, that is Ola Ia. When she comes in and she's like, oh, my name is Ola Ia. And Fred's like, oh, it's probably the water. This ceases to kill me. And she is, in the end, she is the sweetest woman ever to represent African culture in this. She is so kind. She's probably one of the sweetest women ever, characters in show history. She's kind. She's so thoughtful. She cares about Fred. She understands how the culture works. And she's like, the whole time you can see she is not happy how Lamont puts her down. And we just covered this episode, Lamont Goes African. It's one of our most watched videos, over several thousand views. Go check it out. It's not even back less than a month ago. Man, and it's one of my favorite to ever film. That's one thing you got to remember. I made this show because I love Sanford and Son, and I wanted to talk with people in the community, and this is the best way to do it. And regardless if Sony's going to come after and try to block some of my videos because I might show clips here and there, I don't care. I'm still going to do it. I love this, and this is why. Because of great moments like this, and Olaiya, man, she in that, and I love the fact that how she goes, and I do have a lot of fun doing these, as you can see how I'm busting up. And she even puts Lamont straight, and that's what I like. And Fred's like, you know, you're a beautiful woman. And I would have loved if Fred was 20 years younger and maybe they could have dated. That would have been he would have had a great time with her because she respected and understands just human decency. And regardless of how it is tough for Lamont, Fred still should have, Lamont still should have been better on his dad in his retirement years. But Olaiya, top 10, coming in at number 10. Number 9, it is my mom's favorite of all time, if you care. And one of my favorite, and that is Cousin Emma. Yes, Grady's cousin. When she comes in and she, right away, she's like, cracking jokes about Lamont, how great looking he is. She's funny right off the bat. So we get an idea, hey, you know what? This is a likable character. We like this lady. But then Lamont's like, okay, one night, but he doesn't want someone staying around here, you know, freeloading. And that's exactly what it is. She is the best gold brick, probably in show history, next to maybe Gus. But also the best gold brick in Grady's family history, no doubt. I never watched the entire, it was only 10 episodes. I wonder if Cousin Emma, comment below if you ever watched the entire Grady series of 10 episodes. Did they ever make Cousin Emma do an appearance? That would have been outstanding if Cousin Emma showed up in that. Anyways, heck, the community knows how to run Grady's show better than the actual writers at that time, unfortunately. But she gets in there and she's a gold brick and she's like, I'm going to make you a big breakfast. And she's like, you like sausages and pancakes? Every time I watch this episode, I want sausages and pancakes. And I'm like, man, I don't have any in the house. Dang it, why did I watch this one? But they get her in the end with the junk man's itch and the Hong Kong hive, and they trick her and they get her to go. But everyone loves this episode. And that's what's funny is Fred Sanford's not even in it. That would have been great if Fred was in it. But he didn't get an appearance. He was out in St. Louis. But yeah, Cousin Emma, top 10 for sure. She comes in at number 9. Let's get to number 8. And it's funny, we got a big string. We just had Dolly, we had Olaiya, we had Cousin Emma, and now we got another female, 4 straight females. Man, Sanford and Son, that's one thing you got to admit. They got all cultures represented, majority of time, especially in the big ones. They got some of the best, funniest, rudest, kindest characters you could think of, and they weren't just selected a group of men. You had some women representing this show to where you like, we already know off the bat, Sanford and Son, Bing, Aunt Esther, every time. So you got male and female represented. And when we're getting in our top 10, and we got 3 in the top 10 to start off with 3 women, hats off to the company for saying, hey man, we got people on all sides of culture and sexes represented, not just Alex Hacker. But coming in right here at number 8, that is Betty Harriston. I stopped and I go, you know what? Based on the votes, I would have thought, you know, maybe Olaiya, she could jump up. Maybe Cousin Emma. But Betty Harriston got a huge chunk of votes when she was there. And that's just on the fact that she has another comical episode. See, remember we mentioned this. I'm sorry, I always get on these side notes. When Fred Sanford was gone, the writers picked up the slack and they brought in other characters. Cousin Emma and Betty Harriston are both episodes where Fred was not there. This is when she comes in and she went on a date with Fred and had 16 Boilermakers. Man, she could put it away, and so could Fred. And she's like, we sat there all night and we didn't stir once. And Grady's all, if I'd had 16 Boilermakers, I would have stirred more than once. You know, I would have got up and go to the bathroom. So great episode with Harriston, and she ends up getting drunk, right? Grady figures out, hey, how do I get her to remember? He gets her drunk. I mean, he starts giving her shot after shot. She's like, you're going too fast for me. Then she thinks everyone's Fred. She thinks Lamont's Fred Sanford. She thinks Smitty's Fred Sanford. She even thinks Hoppy's Fred Sanford. And I can see why she's memorable, because she's so funny. And she's like, he's all, Freddie, ready for Betty. She's got a great voice. She's got a great hair, which is actually a wig, because if you remember her, she did make another appearance in Lamont Rising Libra, whatever. Remember, she's the one who gives him the sign. She's got the braids. In this one, that's when she's her actual age. In this one, they make her way older. But even then, she still looks young, even with the fake gray hair. But yeah, Betty Harriston. If you say Betty Harriston, every Sanford son instantly knows Caucasian persuasion. He's a white dude. So she is top 10, coming in at number 8. Let's get to number 7. This is the big, I mean, they're all big guns at top 10. But man, coming in at 7, literally big guns. And that is Jojo Jackson. Yeah, Jawbreaker Jojo. Central Avenue Sledgehammer. We still talking about the same dude. I love that. Every time we talk about JoJo, this is the 3rd time he's been mentioned, because we keep covering from Grady Week, and then in the tournament we covered him twice. So we've been talking about him a lot recently, and he is a top 10. Coming in at number 7, Jojo Jackson. Oh my gosh, probably the biggest and most intimidating guy in show history. The only one who's probably scarier than him is, according to Fred, would be Esther Anderson, who can really lay some people out. But in that one, we see that, hey, he can do comedy, right? He's serious. He's scary. He comes in, he's big, and he grabs Lamont, and he has his interaction with Grady. So you better get out of here, dude, if you don't want to get hurt. And when he sees him, and then Lamont's like, he probably don't even want to go outside. And he grabs him, he's all, I want to go outside. He's so funny. And then when he's out there, and he's ready to, hey, man, I'm going to break both your jaws. And he's all, hey, get up. You ain't going to be, I mean, Lamont's down doing his karate pose, right? This is Lamont Goes Karate. He's doing his pose. He's like, hey, praying ain't going to help you. I love his voice. I love his intimidation. He's mean. He's got some long... Him and Arms Crowder, man, got some of the longest arms in show history. And when he gets up and starts having a fit, he's like, oh, whoa, calm down, calm down. Oh, my gosh. And then when he tells... His interactions with everybody, with Grady and Lamont, go from serious to scary to funny. So great range, great acting from this actor. But Jojo Jackson, definitely one of the most favorite. He did make, or no, did he make the finals? No, I think he made the semifinals. He made the semifinals in the tournament. So congratulations to Jojo. Man, anybody here that's a Sanford fan, comment below. Do you agree with this list? Where would you place Olaia or any of the women ahead of JoJo? I had a hard time because in this tournament, man, people were begging. When JoJo was up, he had huge percents of votes. And he beat Betty Harriston in their round. People really loved him. So it's hard to say pass anyone up over Jojo Jackson. Here we come in at number 6. And I thought this guy would finish top 4. And that is Gus. Yes, Gus from the episode. Not Gus the karate instructor. Gus, the guy who is the homeless man that they think is dead in the tub. We did an episode breakdown of that. Like I said, season 2, go check that out. But in that one, Gus is so funny where he goes and they want to get rid of him and he's like, you'll be sorry, you know, when I kill myself. Fred's all, if you want to die, just go stand in front of the pool hall and just act like you're counting some money and you'll get your hat brought to the cemetery. So the Gus brings out some of the best of Fred. He comes out and, man, he goes from where you're like, hey, I love Gus, to, man, I want to punch Gus. When he touches Fred's sweet roll, Fred's nice enough. He lets him in. He gives him a glass of water, a mayonnaise jar. If you've ever been in a culture where, or just even when you didn't have a lot of money. I grew up like that with my mom, where you did take other jars and use it for drinks. You know, whatever, anything that was a cup could be used. If you save money. I'd rather spend money on food than more dishes. But and then he touches his sweet roll. Man, I want to punch Gus. And then he's in there banging the can. More beer, Freddie. I cannot stand Gus when he's like that. And then we get Dr. Caldwell, who everyone screamed to be in this tournament. But Caldwell's in 3 appearances, so he could not be. But we'll have other tournaments down the line. But either way, great job by Gus. He is so memorable. They finally catch him at the end, and Fred is ready to beat him with the bat. There's no debate here. Fred could have whooped Gus's butt. Fred lets him knock him down. And then he's like, Lamont, get me on the couch. Lamont, oh, I can't move my legs. Can you bring me some cold beers? Oh, what a great ending with that one. But Gus, very memorable, and comes in at number 6. Kind of an upset that he, you know, it's kind of like the March Madness, which we're coming up on, tournament, where you're like, I would have put Gus as a top 4. And he only dropped a couple, but he probably lost in the later rounds. He did win his first round matchup. Here we go. Coming in number 5, more female representation by 3, and that is the 3 Degrees. We want the 3 Degrees. Easily the best singing female group. Oh man, never mind. Group. I'll say group because Lena Horne's the best singing female in show history, and BB King's probably, in my opinion, the best male singing. So 3 Degrees have to take a step back. And when it comes to celebrities, people were suggesting that, hey, where's Lena? Where's BB King? I'm like, they will be in a celebrity show tournament much later when we break that down. This is just regular characters. So 3 Degrees, 3 superfly chicks out of Philly. Man, I love the guy who's talking that when he's announcing them. But we know them. They come in, they sing, they're beautiful. Fred loves them. Lamont and Rollo are managing them. And Bubba, Leroy, and Skillet are cheering for him. Everywhere you go, that's the only... I think the only reason they're not top 3, and this is votes, not me. Remember, I can't vote on this. You can't vote on your own polls on your YouTube. But I didn't vote on this. But to me, I always said I didn't think they were top 3, just in the fact that they don't get a lot of jokes off. Anything from, do you like buttermilk biscuits? And then Fred responds. They do the song, and the funniest part is when Fred's going, boop. He's eating, he's going, boop. Or when he's putting Rollo down. Everything was, and then they're not even in the nightclub scene. That's the biggest part in the whole show, other than meeting the 3 Degrees and them singing with Fred, which is amazing. I think that's a great moment. That would be a top, another tournament. What's the best singing moment? And I think that's a great one, 3 Degrees. But when it comes to it, you look at it and you go, man, you know what? In the club, they weren't even shown. It was all the actor, Leroy, Skillet, Bubba, and then the bouncer come in. So that's why I think they kind of drifted out a little as we got towards the championship, as we got towards the finals. But 3 Degrees coming in at number 5. And now we got our top 4. These guys all made the championship. And coming in at number 4, another three guys, and that is the Card Sharps. Man, I love the Card Sharps. I was shocked that they made the final, but because I almost put just Hucklebuck. Originally I was going to put, because everyone loves Hucklebuck, but I go, you know what? Just like 3 Degrees, you can't just separate them. They came in together. So a quick fun fact in case you're new to our channel and you've not watched any of our previous videos, because we break down the Card Sharps, one of my other favorite episodes I've had to break down. But also a fun fact on them, which we covered in the tournament as well. They actually got their names based on a painting called the Card Sharps from like the 1500s. And if you look at it, all the hats are similar with the feather and the wild hats and wild different type outfits. That's where they get it. And it's based on a more 70s modern day look with the Card Sharps. But you got Skeeter Matthews, his Ugly Matthews son, that Fred, that's actually been mentioned before in series history. So one-time appearance, but he was actually mentioned as buying a color TV for his dad. He's the crooked dealer, right? And look, Fred knows it. He's been watching him deal from bottom of the deck. Almost like bottom of the deck Dan. And then also you got Rooster, who probably has the least interaction. He's the good cop, bad cop. He's the good cop because he's like, hey guys, this is Lamont's house. We shouldn't be doing this. We should. And he's like, hey Lamont, you're not having good luck. You know, and so maybe you're good with women, right? So he's just kind of like the guy. He gets more street cred because of the other two. And then my favorite and everyone's favorite, Hucklebuck, played by Ron Glass. And man, when he comes in, he just got the, nah, I'm Hucklebuck. And he's like, man, there's as much junk in here as there is outside when he first comes in. Hucklebuck makes a great, I would say, representation of the group. So in the end, they're all one unity, and the Card Sharps are one of the most famous in Sanford and Son history. No doubt they made top 4, so congratulations on them making the championship. Coming in number 3, this is my biggest upset. I did say I let him bypass to get to the semis because I knew he was going to get a lot of votes. But I did not know he would overcome Gus, who finished 6th. I thought Gus would beat him. And that is Sonny Cochran. Yes, oh my gosh. People love Sonny Cochran, and so do I, right? I even said when we break it down in the tournament, I said, you know what? In that episode, it's not just Fred, Legal Eagle, with the famous scene in the courtroom when he takes on that white cop and he demands justice. It's not just that. It's also Sonny Cochran. He's a big part of that, where he gives the most obvious legal advice, and Grady and Fred think it's like he's like the real Johnny Cochran. How crazy they're going. They're like, yeah, that's legal talk, right? They're going crazy, and all he said was, is this your second? So this is your 3rd ticket? That means this is your, what is it? He said in your last year, you've had 3 pride tickets. No duh. He's so, but then he does give a good speech where he's like, Your Honor, I throw myself on the mercy of the court. Great, memorable speech. Takes off his hat. Oh my goodness. I love Sonny Cochran, and which he is inspired at the time from Johnny Cochran, who was a big lawyer in LA, did not do the OJ case yet, so he was not nationwide, maybe even worldwide fame, but he was a big lawyer in that community, and he was taken from him. But yeah, very memorable. I have no problem with him being top 3. I would have been shocked if he won, but top 3, 4, no problem. I actually like Card Sharps a little more than him, but I could see, since he was an individual and fans really loved him, why he got more votes in the Card Sharps and beat them out. So Sonny Cochran, yes, top 3. When we talk about it, I don't hear a lot of people ever talk about, yeah, Sonny Cochran. But in the end, he is. If you break it down like we are on this list, I like Sonny Cochran more than Carol Rhodes, even though Sonny Cochran's role was smaller. I like him more than Moose. I like him more than Betty Harriston. Those are great episodes, but man, Legal Eagle is like a Super Bowl champion of Sanford and Son episodes. And don't get me talk. Why did I say Super Bowl? Ugh. Sorry, KC fans. I did not. Hated that end. I still got a bad taste in my mouth from that. Anyways, back to this. So Sonny Cochran, that's it. We're in our top 2, and you know who it is. It's a battle of 2. I'm not going to say nothing. But coming in at number 2, the great Osgood Wilcox. Be of good cheer. Osgood is here. Yes, Osgood Wilcox. We know him as the guy who can do push-ups. He can lift a chair with one arm and light a cigarette with his left arm. He knows judo, and he causes Fred to drop one of the biggest hysterical lines that he ad-libbed, if you did not know. He ad-libbed that, and thanks to the audience voting on it, they kept it in the show. That originally wasn't supposed to be when he drops the N-bomb, and he says, this end's crazy, right? He wasn't supposed to say that. And if you watch it, when he says it, Lamont even gives him a kind of a sharp look, like, wait, that's not in the script. But he plays along with it. I love that he played along with it. And the audience laughed for 6 straight minutes before they finally calmed down. But yes, Osgood Wilcox deserves, he could even be the champion, and I wouldn't have had a problem. 1 and 2, easily to me, go hand in hand. And it was a close battle, but in the end, number 1 pulled away. But with him, his voice, right? Osgood Wilcox, it's pretty good for, domesticated sherry. His voice isn't standing. He's intelligent. He's fighting Fred for Donna. And my favorite line, which I have repeated continuously, and I've had haters on my channel even say, they'll put in the comments, man, all you do is talk. And I'm like, yes, that's the show. It's me talking about things we love in Sanford and Son. And so I always think of Osgood when I see those trolls who say that. Talk. That's all they do is talk. I love talking with Donna. So everyone voted Osgood as one of their favorites of all time, and big rival for Fred. That's funny. Number 20 was Lou Turner, was a big rival, and number 2 was a big rival for Fred, and Fred beats them both out in the end to win Donna. And so Osgood Wilcox, number 2. That's it. We don't need to talk anymore. We already know who number 1 is. Let's get to number 1. Yes, our number 1 is, and if you notice a change, I did change the shirt, if you notice that. And that's just because this is the closest color I have to matching the outfit of our number 1 most memorable character, one and done appearance in the greatest show in TV history, Sanford and Son. That is Big Money Grip with the swivel hips. Yeah. Man, he comes in and he's got the cold duck. And he sits there, and the fact that he comes in, Grady already gives Fred the heads up, and they're, give me 5 so I can stay alive, right? And they're good buddies. They give the hug, and then they sit down and they get the whole interaction. Big Money Grip I think it's because the episode's number 1. But could the episode be number 1 without Big Money Grip? I mean, you can't have the story, so obviously not. But I think all the emotion behind it with Lamont loving his pop, and it's always going to be Sanford and Son. And the interaction with Esther, I think it just takes it to another level. And Big Money Grip is the reason. He is the most memorable character. When he's talking with Grady, remember when they're there and he's like, hey, you were there, Grady. Who does he look like? When they're looking at a picture of Lamont as a baby, he's all, oh, yeah, I was there. It looks just like you, Grip. And Grip gets the biggest smile. But Lamont comes in and he does the dance, right? So we know he's cool. He keeps up with modern times. He looks nice, even with the gray beard and stuff like Fred. And the fact that he's got and he's even a gentleman to Esther. But then Esther's like, nah, she ain't having it. She's like, what did you say? She's ready to kick his butt. I think that everything about it, how you get Fred and Esther teaming up. We know Fred brought Esther there just for this, just to kick his butt. And they team up, and they wanted to prove it. And remember, what's a dilly-dally? And he's like, you're looking at the only driver. But it is Big Money Grip. We find out in the end that he did not hook up with Elizabeth, but it was with Esther as he went in her room. in the end, at the very end, where Fred's like, you know, I used to be mad at you, Grip, but now I just feel sorry for you. You can't tell a difference from a woman and a crocodile. And that's when Grip goes, me, her, ugh. Yeah, and he walks out. He leaves and you know what? Man, I wish some of these characters and actors were still alive so that you can comment to them or share with them or get their opinion on this. But if he was here right now, I would take this belt, put it over his shoulder, and say, Big Money Grip, congratulations. You are the champion. You are the most memorable character who ever stopped by for one time in Sanford & Son history. Take this championship, hang it on your wall, and take it with pride. Because, you know, at the time, did he really know what he was doing? A lot of them. Do any of them realize that it was going to be 50 plus years later and some 40-year-old dude's going to be talking about him on YouTube, celebrating them with thousands of fans out there who are still loving the show and memorable. And I wasn't even alive at the time it was on. So it's like, that shows the impact it's had on generations upon generations down the line. And Big Money Grip, he's got to be one of the most famous people ever when it comes to television history. And all he did is come in and film one episode. So congratulations, Big Money Grip. Comment below, did you think I missed anyone? Who would you have put on this list and where? And you got to admit, I mean, in the championship, Big Money Grip, I think he had 59 to 60%. There was Osgood. There were people who would put Osgood first. There were people that would put the Card Sharps first. Heck, even Sonny Cochran, right? These guys were higher up. So I know it's not a unanimous choice, but in the end, majority does rule out. And the major majority, a big chunk of the majority, went Big Money Grip. Congratulations. Thank you all for who tuned in and watched. I'm sorry if you made it this far. Give a comment saying, hey, I made it to the end, Danny. You know, let me know, because this was the longest one I've ever filmed. I didn't plan it to be this long, right? It's just talking about top 20, and I tried to give quick points about each one. Next thing I know, it's a minute per character and even longer. So I do apologize, but I'm hoping if you made it to the end, it was because you enjoyed it. You had fun laughing and reminiscing, and look forward to Friday's show. I don't even know what it's going to be. We will have a live show this week where we bring up 3 topics. I will post, I'll share in the community what it'll be. Hopefully you can join us, and when we can chat all Sanford Son and talk about this tournament and get ready for the next one coming up. As I have a whole schedule in March, I will release 2 in a few days. So have a great time. Stay safe. Have a great week. Thank you, and we'll see you again on Sanford Son here on Red G Fox channel. Peace.